Good afternoon and welcome to SM Live. Back for another live stream Friday. Great to have you with us again. This is our 11th SalesMaster live stream show. Hopefully a good one today planned. We're showcasing StockBook again as your master inventory. This time the power of cross-site selling. So maximising that vehicle stock across your entire sales team and also online, and just getting the most out of the group stock across your group sales team. So I'm Chris Stott, SalesMaster CEO. If you're joining us today, welcome for the first time. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The live streams are all available on our YouTube channel, so you can get on there. We've been adding timestamps and things to them so you can see the various features that we've covered. So, please, as I say, subscribe to the channel so that we can stay in touch with you and show you more features. I've got Howard with me as always. So Howard, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So this is our second live stream of the day, isn't it? So
yes, it is. It is. So it's becoming really natural now. But, our first live stream training live stream this morning. So with a new implementation. So really, really exciting.
It was good way of so we reached out to all of the users on a new implementation today and just showed some of the new functionality. Get them new functionality to them in terms of first users to the system, and how to get the most out of SalesMaster and hit the ground running at day one. So it was really encouraging. So enjoyed that. So what have we got on today, Howard? This is a cross-site sales. So just expanding more on some of the stuff we've talked about previously and maximising that group stock position.
Yeah, so increasing the sales, the visibility across the whole division or sites. Just allowing everyone to sell from a bigger pool of stock rather than your own individual site. And obviously avoid the double selling. So with the sales status changes. So I think really really good. And I think I'll go in a bit more depth about some of the search functionality as well. I had a couple of questions on that this week. Really just to get everyone into a really good place with how it operates within the group, and of course sharing online once you've got that up and running. Brilliant.
We've got Annette with us as normal, so Annette's moderating through the chat. So like always, if you've got any questions you'd like us to cover related to this content or unrelated in terms of wider StockBook SalesMaster questions, please just jump on the chat on YouTube, put a comment in there. We'll then put that on the screen and talk through it so everyone gets the benefit of that. So really interactive session this morning, which was great. So feel free to just jump on that as you wish. Okay, right, so we make a start then. If I cut back to you to share your screen, we can get on and see what we're going to cover off first.
I'm ready to if you want to come across.
Okie dokie. Cool. So into the demo environment and over to you, mate.
Yeah, into a demo environment. This one is the new one that we're using across our live streams. So the stock is growing all the time, and more brands are being added into this environment. So we'll continue to use it, and it's a really good representation of real time or real live stock. So it's great environment to use for the live streams to give everyone a good impression.
And this represents sort of stock that's been created through our manufacturer feeds for new vehicles, doesn't it? In terms of the level of data we can provide. So it's more of a kind of, rather than some of the random data that we've shared previously. So if you operate one of these brands that we're showing, this is what we can implement for you, basically. So
obviously we're starting with Audi here. These are all in alphabetical order, so we've got the Audi A1 sitting at the top, but you can see that there's well over 31,000 vehicles in this set. So really really good impression of it.
Cool. Okay, so I guess starting with salesperson working in a retailer across or covering a region, but probably part of a division and a wider group. It'd be good really to just, I think, illustrate the power of that single site stock versus group stock and how you can maximize that to ultimately offer yourself more chance of finding the right car for the customer. So that'd probably be a good way to start.
Yeah, really good way to start actually. So I'm just gonna bring in some new columns into the visibility. So what I'm drilling down into, people can see it change as I do that. So first thing I'm going to do, this is just the configuration for this account. If you currently use SalesMaster, your account may be configured slightly different, but that can be done as required. So as we build new accounts, we talk through and discuss what's available and how that layout can look. But this one's really simple, kind of default setting of vehicle status, stock type, the model year, and the date in stock. I've added on to the end of that recently. So the first thing I'm going to bring in a couple more columns. You can see this is quite a sizable one on here. This is just because it's the demo environment, so we're just using everything or as much as we can get hold of, just so we can show and demonstrate on these sessions. The first thing I want to bring in is site, so I'm just going to use the search function and just search for site because there's far too many just to run through. So I'm just going to bring site into the view. So I'm just going to make it a bit clearer, and you can see we've randomized these sites so they Audi 1, 2, 3, 4 and so forth. So you can see as I drill down. So I'm going to pick on a brand, and today I fancy picking on Jaguar. So I'm just going to select all the Jaguars. You can see we've got 1100 in this view, so a decent volume of stock. And again, I'm going to minus out the sold vehicles. So as I've shown in previous sessions, you can use the minus sold just to remove the sold ones, or of course you can select the token that is just show me the available vehicles. Like so you can see we've got 666. There you go. I wasn't expecting that. So and then we can go down and keep going down a bit further. But if I want it, as you mentioned, Chris, I just want to look at my own site stock for this purpose. So I'm gonna pick on 40. So anything that I type in here and select, it will just then show me those vehicles with that particular token. So I'm just going to go for 14, as you can see there. If 14 existed within a chassis number or anything else, it would find it as well. So there's a couple of different ways. That's a really simple way of me just looking at my site. But of course, using Search Builder, you can just go straight in there and type in site and select the site that you want to have a look at. This is really useful when you're looking at a regional stock visibility. So again, I'm just gonna, if I wanted to look at Jaguar 14, Jaguar 13, like so, I can simply do that by applying those and just looking at those two sites.
I think
really useful.
Sorry, we've also on those multi-site piece, like you've just done through Search Builder, we've done that, I think, for a number of occasions on permissions, haven't we, across, especially if there's quite wide geographic divisional operations, particularly on used cars where they're physical, to be able to group them into separate regions.
Yeah, you want to exactly that. You want to show the new car, because as they come through from build status, you may want to ship them off in other directions for available vehicles. But of course, if it's a used car, it tends to be more on site. So yeah, you don't want north and south. You don't want to be moving too many, or logistically moving too many vehicles up and down, or yeah. And as you say, as a geographical kind of distance. But if we take these two Jaguar sites and say, well, 13 and 14 are the next town along, it's gives you a good view of that as well.
Cool. And that so if you're working at, say, one of those sites alone, typically without StockBook, you'd probably just have access to your own site. So if you were, say, working at Jaguar 14, as you were going to do initially,
yep.
perhaps, and you're looking for a particular car, you're going to have less to choose from than if you were working, you had visibility of all the sites in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can just look at your specific site, and then you can look at just the vehicles maybe that are on site or in the port of entry. So sitting at the compound as such. And again, I could do that by doing a search. So I could say arrived or into, like so, and it would probably narrow those two down, as it has done. So that was clever. You could do that, or you could simply, again, use the search builder function, because if you just looked at the arrived at site, and I know I've shown this before, but it's always worth showing, that will just show you the vehicles that are arrived at site. As soon as I hit enter, and then I look for the port ones, well, that will contradict itself, because you've looked for one thing and then you've typed in another token.
Filter on a filter or something.
Yeah, it's a bit like when we did the red or blue, I think, in a few sessions back. But again, I can use Search Builder, and I can simply do that within them. Sorry, that was me. The vehicle the status of the vehicle there, and just say, actually, I just want to see the vehicles that are in the compound. In this case, and of course, depending on what the manufacturer is depending on what as they call the status.
So this is meaningful for whoever the brand you're operating, as you know the terms for that brand, it will be the same way to search for it. That's cool.
Exactly.
Especially with some of those you mentioned, for example, German brands or vehicles that are built overseas and then shipped into the UK. If you you can imagine there's quite that delivery cycle of vehicles that are deliverable within a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 week period to the consumer, but they're not sort of consigned in the UK on any stocking system, therefore probably excluded from the DMS view, but obviously a lot of stock that's potentially available to sell and deliver in the current month or quarter or period. So great visibility to increase the chance of selling from inventory. And reducing that kind of factory order perspective, especially when we're just looking at our site here, which is called Jaguar 14, but if we were looking at the wider group, which is really simple to do. So at this stage, I'm looking at the vehicles that are basically sellable now for me. I've got 163, but if I took out 14, that would just then suddenly bump to way over 500. Which is then saying, well, these are sellable as well, because we're only looking at new cars in this environment. So it's saying, here's all the new car stock across the whole group. So definitely.
That might even, if I was working in a Jaguar dealer group, I might, or this particular site, I would maybe save this as my save view. So that's where I'm kind of going to first. And saying, actually, I'm just going to look at what's sellable first.
And I think we've said with some brands as well, where we've got the estimated dates or delivery, indication of deliveries or status codes that are within a certain period, we can make those dynamic views for you. So you could say, show me vehicles that are deliverable. You're going to do it, are you? Do it on the fly. Nice. Okay, so that's cool. And you could do that with Search Builder as well. Add a criteria for saying this quarter or this month or whatever.
So even if you don't have the header in your view, you can obviously search within it. But using Search Builder again, so you see why this, and I've mentioned this in a number of our live stream sessions. These Column Chooser and Search Builder are used really regularly for everyone that uses SalesMaster. It's the go-to place. Estimated delivery date. I can say it's a range, so show me all the vehicles that are going to come in this week or whatever the case, over the weekend. Or I could say, actually, just show me all the vehicles that are going to come in, this month. Or this week or this quarter, and then just apply that and it'll show me all the vehicles.
So you don't have to build the search every time. You can just build that dynamic view, and it's like a lens on that data criteria. So really efficient way of building some standardized views for certain roles within the business. And obviously from this perspective, we wanted to show across the site. So I may want to save that view and share it across with you or with any of my team, and because it will always be dynamic, it will just keep updating all the time. So you only ever create these views once, really, and once you get familiar with doing that, it's second nature. But it could make a massive difference in terms of a salesperson's equipping your sales team with the data to try and convert an order. And that's obviously before we talk about this data being used to power online on your website and powering other online marketplaces, which obviously we've talked about, and we've got previous other videos to cover that, which we shall link to in due course. So Annette's put a reminder in to say, please pop in any questions in the chat so that we can cover that, because that's a classic example that you've just shown, Howard. I've seen save views built with the dates specifically chosen in a report, rather than that dynamic view. And if you're doing that, you've got to build your save view at the start of every month again every time. Whereas a quick simple tip like setting up a dynamic date helper is just going to make a huge difference to then the effectiveness of those save views and the admin overhead of building them and maintaining them.
Yeah, going back into it, and I just highlight over it for everyone's benefit. But you can see here that you can have show me vehicles that are after a certain date, so or is not set, or is after today. So it is after. Actually, just show me all the vehicles that are due in after today. And then that's obviously dynamic, because as the days move on, the data displays as it should.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so really, really powerful.
Okay, well that's been a good one. So that's really driving at ultimately increasing sales by greater visibility across a wider stock pool. So in terms of the factory order element, I suppose it's natural to show it. We've done a bit of that on the delivery date, but as those vehicles get further into the production cycle, they would also drop into whatever criteria we've put through as deliverable cars, right? So yeah.
So yeah,
so you don't need to just be scoped into that that lens. You can be, just show me you perhaps be pre-selling stuff that's 8 weeks away instead of a factory order at 12 or 15 or 20.
Yeah, and in this environment, I've obviously, in this token, I've obviously been very specific about it being Jaguar.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can build these views based on the brand that you're working within. So we have all of that power from the factory feeds that we take.
So just another one's kind of related to this, around grouping vehicles or like allocating vehicles that you want to extend to a wider sales team as well. So when we've done the powering online and omni-channel videos, we've also looked at tagging. Presumably you could, sales managers or group stock controllers could use the tags to identify certain vehicles almost regardless of where they are, and push those into a certain view for sales execs to see separately, like how we handle some of the campaign stock, for example.
So and that's pretty much what you're building on. We had an implementation go earlier this week, actually, where they were using it for highlighting information on specific vehicles. So you can use them to what's involved with a campaign. As soon as I select them, it selects the first 60, or I could select 407 of them, and it just changes the setup or the view of your of what's in front of you. So lots of these tags, lots of these new icons that we've been through in recent weeks on the live streams, but obviously the most commonly one, or the used one most commonly, is managing tags on these vehicles. So I can simply just add the tags here. So call that, we'll just call them focus stock, like so, and I can just tag them up. And again, I can just tag them up for my organisation, which is basically anyone else that's logged into this account, or I can share it across our sharing partners as well. So if I wanted to broadcast, this is a focus stock to other parties that have got access to my stock through SalesMaster, I can simply do it that way as well. And as soon as I obviously update them, that will just add the tag to them. So you can do it to individual vehicles, as I mentioned earlier. If there's specific information you wanted to highlight on vehicles that wasn't coming through from either the manufacturer system or, of course, the DMS, wherever the feed is coming from, then this is a great way. And it shows very clearly back to everyone else in the business there's something on that vehicle. And I think even if I shorten the, let me just see what I can bring in. I'm just trying to bring in something that starts to squash my screen a little bit. So let's put in
Oh yeah, with the wrapping of the columns. Or whatever.
Yeah, so it just wraps around, and it's really good to. So I'm just going to bring some random stuff in that probably won't contain too much, but that's enough there. You can see here now it's stretching my. But if I just hover over it, it just show. Even then, it will show the description and that tag on those vehicles.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool, and that's again, as we've used, tagging is popular for sharing stock across sites, or within a group or within a retailer network. But it's also used for collecting the vehicles to share online. So really good way of tagging your vehicles with that hashtag, and then that being part of the API integration to your website to make sure those vehicles are prominent and linked directly to a marketing offer with live stock across new and used cars.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So anyone else that's got access to that stock now would see that tag straight away. Of course, I'm just going to put one of the vehicles under negotiation just so we can clearly see that change. But obviously, if I wanted to not only tag the vehicle so everyone could see it, but if I wanted to share it, I could simply just go in and create my label like so. So we can just keep it consistent, say focus stock, and then share it to everyone else that's in this account as well, like so, and then pin it as a tab and keep it for reference and keep an eye on how things are going.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, let's just cut back to the main camera for a sec. I think when you've touched on it then, actually mentioning one of the challenges I think with cross-site selling and multiple people selling from multiple stock pools, it can get out of sync. It can get a bit messy. So how do we overcome double selling? And you've talked about that with the tip to under negotiation there. I think this is a prime time to really just reiterate some of the functionality we've got as master inventory. How is it normally received when we kind of implement? Because that at this point is probably going to have that. How does it go with the sales teams when they see about StockBook? Is there a hesitation around this? Well, somebody else can see my stock, and what if they sell it without me, and so on? How do we handle that?
Yes, that does happen because it really is changing a process. But you tend to find that before you set StockBook up, it's all very much about your own specific site. It's not really about the group stock until you put this in.
Yeah.
There's obviously ways in which people do that. But you tend to find there's a lot of messages and phone calls and emails, across the group to say, is that car still available? Yes or no? And it becomes quite cumbersome. So I think people tend to avoid it and tend to stick with what they've got in front of them.
Well, it just becomes very noisy with traffic on email distribution lists, doesn't it? And then 100 people or 500 people being notified that somebody sold a car that they're not really, doesn't mean anything to them because they haven't sold it. So it can be quite a noisy manual process without it.
So obviously, putting those vehicles under negotiation clearly shows that, and you can look who did it and when they did it, and of course, selling a vehicle, we do trigger email alerts anyway to the site, the owning site. So not to everyone, just the site that owns that stock.
And it's kind of, I guess, down to our implementation team when we're defining the rules with the business as you're implementing this to really get this part of the sales process when you launch StockBook to make sure everyone buys into the set of rules that have been defined. We can change them obviously through configuration, but what typically would we have as rules to manage that? It's kind of under negotiation, expiry time, the sales status lock type thing.
Hours.
Yeah.
And the sales status lock, that can change, and the account can decide on changes. So you may want to start your account with a period of saying, okay, we're going to do 2 hours of under negotiation. And then they may find actually that's too long for us now, or too short, as the case may be. And it's a very straightforward configuration for us at this end. So the support team will action that as required. So we've done that a few times recently, especially with the change of reopening the dealerships and obviously previous lockdowns.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, that would be probably, I suppose, if we go on to. Do you want to go on to under negotiation then, and just do a couple of those so we can see that?
Yeah.
While you do that, I'll
split screen.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm just noticed I'll be probably in the wrong account for that, so I'm just going to go and change it so I'm in the same account as you, which is live stream. Okay, let's just do that.
And hopefully your permissions will allow you. Because we do just while you're setting up, we do define that by brand.
Got it. Yeah.
So I'm in to do that if you work right.
Yeah, cool. So if we go, split screen.
Yep.
Oh dear, I've got a bit of randomness going on here. That's it. Try that. That's better.
Nothing like tech.
Okay, so we just check actually to make sure I'm in the same count as you. 31,000 vehicles.
That's it.
That's at the default. Yeah. Cool.
So we can. I can. If I back up, there you go. You got 35,
got it.
31.
Okay, so we're both looking at the same account, same StockBook configuration. I'm logged in with probably got the same permissions actually as a sales manager, but this is just going to show that real-time visibility. You can see first off, I haven't got that focus stock tab that you created because that tab has just been created for you.
Yes. Yeah, so I haven't shared that across with anyone in this account, but obviously I can. But you will be able to see. So if you now search for the Jaguar that are available, and you were working in Jaguar, you would see those vehicles that have been tagged up by myself.
Got it. Yeah, I can see the focus stock. Yeah, and which I could then search for as well, presumably just by clicking that. And there's it's 59 available Jaguars. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see there's one under negotiation here, which is the one you just did a minute ago. So I'm just going to, well, if you put some under negotiation then, and I'll build a view that shows me just the under negotiation stock as well while you do that.
So I'll just put some random ones under negotiation. You can imagine when SalesMaster goes live in an account and is used, the volume of under negotiation just shoots up very quickly. And people, just to kind of behave with the process, it really works because you're not double selling and you've got access to all of the stock across the group. So it's just a nice little kind of gap or stoppage to say I'm talking to someone about that vehicle. So I can put that vehicle under negotiation. I'll just do one more. There you go.
And so I've done basically there's 4 vehicles under negotiation. I'm just going to save that on my view now as under negotiation. I could actually share that back with you, but I'll just keep it on mine. I can't do that because I've already used it. So let's just save it with a different name.
I might be in the wrong account actually, so you might not be able to.
That's fine. Now I've got it. I've created it. So I've got now a view, my default view, which has got the 31,000 vehicles and the column stock type, vehicle stock type, vehicle status, year, and DIS. But if I click under negotiation, CS1 as I've called it, I can see now I've got the vehicles that are marked under negotiation, but I've also changed the columns so that I can see on the screen when it was put under negotiation and who did that and what site you're working for. So that's like a real-time view of the vehicles that are in activity. And we get a lot of these. I think we showed it. If we put a link into one of our last live streams, which is about reporting, where we showed the number of transactions that happen under negotiation and selling and cross-site sales during the day. So we'll link back to that video just so you can see the reporting and the power of that from a management and insight perspective.
I don't know what you mean by.
Siri doesn't know about that. Okay, so let's. What happens if I try and sell one of those cars now? It's locked. So I can't. I'd have to, because I've got permission to. I could unlock that and change it, but we can configure it that certain users don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can unlock it because of your permissions to mark the vehicle as sold. Because ultimately, you put a vehicle under negotiation, you go through the process with the customer, and then it's going to be marked sold by either yourself or the sales manager or administrator within the business. So you want it to be able to access to be able to do that rather than waiting the 2-hour period or whatever the period is defined
sure.
to do that. So so you can just mark one of those vehicles as sold, and of course I can put these vehicles back, put one of them back to available. So when you now kind of look at your under negotiation view, it should go down to 3.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. No, that's cool. And equally, I suppose I could go, if I come back out of the under negotiation view and look back for Jaguar, and then you're in, say, some e-paces. So if I just go into these e-pace that are available, I will set some of those with a different tag, just so that we can show that actually if you've got permissions, you can actually have a vehicle can have many tags as well. So if I wanted to take a few of those vehicles that were part of your focus stock, but I'm also going to say that they've got an additional, I don't know, let's say it's a Q2 campaign, which might be linked to the manufacturer campaign as well as your focus stock in your business. We can now share that across other users as well, either in the account or outside of the account. So you should see, for a few of those vehicles that we've just added, I've added a second tag to those, which is Q2 campaign.
I've stretched mine too big.
And then you could save that as another view as well. So it's very, very simple to group collections of vehicles and make those available across multiple sites. So
you did those 5 vehicles.
Yeah, excellent. So then if we had, so that could be a way that, for example, we've got use cases in SalesMaster where a certain account is configured to only receive and see vehicles that are labelled Q2 campaign, or, and then that would be shared stock coming out of SalesMaster into another user's account that's got that stock that you're happy and have got permissions. Obviously, all permission controlled, so you can determine who can see what. And those same tags are used in order to promote certain vehicles on the website as well.
Yeah, it just gives full ownership from or from the owning account of accessibility of their stock. So, choosing what you share, what you don't share, absolutely.
Yeah, no, great.
Yeah,
good stuff. Okay, right. Well, let's cut back to main cameras then. I think today it was more about sort of enforcing and getting that message across around reinforcing the StockBook master inventory offering, and how we can promote cross-site selling. As I say, we've got some reporting from our live stream last week, which shows the power of that in use in a big platform. But please get in touch with us if you're unsure of any kind of configuration within your own business, because we can apply that. So just go through our support team, who'll be more than happy to look at your configuration if you feel that you need to have greater visibility of stock share between each of the sites. So not a problem. Is there anything else to cover off today, Howard, from the list of bits? So I think we've covered most of it from looking down the list. So
yeah, I think we have from what we wanted to get across today. Obviously, just reiterate around this morning's kind of live stream training that it's great to do a demo. Happy to do that for anyone looking at SalesMaster that wants to see it from their own stock perspective. So yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people on the stream today, so it's a good efficient way of getting this message across to a number of people. So if you feel that would be useful within your business, then just shout, as Howard said, get in touch, and we'll happily facilitate that for you. Excellent. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up then, I think, now. So hope you've all had a successful start to Q2 and a good week. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back with you next week for our next live stream. So thanks very much for joining us, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thanks very much.